that you feel. زين حجي كانت برحم الله والديك بارك الله بك شكرا عيني. Alright. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل. A second time for the love of سيدة نساء العالمين بأعلى أصواتكم. اللهم صل على. A third time for the love of Imam al-Hussein with the loudest of voices. اللهم صل على محمد وآل. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم وقوله الحق. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the chapter of Al-Shams, verses 8 to 10, he says, ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. Allah says, Allah swears by the soul and He who created it. He says, surely successful is the one who purifies it, and unsuccessful, a failure, is the one who does das. Now, das means to hide something, okay? So pushing it down to the point where you hide it. And I'll explain what that means, inshallah, later in the lecture. صدق الله العلي العظيم. آمنا بالله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Of course, I wasn't with you for the birth of Imam al-Hassan, salamullah alayhi celebration, so I wanted to congratulate all of you, inshallah, on this great occasion. Hi, awalan. Secondly, I wanted to thank the organizers for inviting me this season so that I can spend, inshallah, the last couple of weeks of the month of Ramadan with all of you, inshallah. The last time I was here was Muharram, and in that period of time, we covered the first series, the first Knowledge Seeker series, alhamdulillah. So, obviously, mashallah, we had many youth coming, so I'm not sure about the time. So we need to make sure that the time is conducive to the youth being here, right? But inshallah, al-khair wal-barakah bil-mawjudeen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So, since we finished the last series, Series 1 of the Knowledge Seeker series, today we move on to Series 2, inshallah. Inshallah, if the media committee will set it up. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll also have PowerPoints just like I had last time, so that you can also follow through and you can take pictures of the slides so that you can keep it on your phone, inshallah, in case you need the information. Okay, it'll be nice and handy. I will mention that just like in Muharram, that inshallah I will also be looking for those who are giving notes, who are taking notes for these sessions, because I do consider the minbar of Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi as a classroom, right? We're here to learn, right? We're not just here to listen to a lecture and go home. Our goal is to actually learn something, take notes, make sure that we apply it to our daily lives. So what I'm giving you today is the second series, inshallah. Today we will start the second series of the Knowledge Seekers program. And this is a program that, inshallah, will build you to become a stronger believer and a stronger Muslim, more able to not just know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as we did in the last series, and prove prophethood, and prove the Holy Quran, and prove imamat as we did. And if you weren't here for that, then you can review the recordings, because I know that the media team were able to record them last time, and I know that they're on their social media platform. So, inshallah, today we will start with the Self-Actualization and Decision-making series. Once we were able to prove all of those things that we did in the Knowledge Seeker series, we are now ready to understand and to apply what we learned, and to understand what are the things that get in the way of us making certain decisions in our lives, right? Because, yes, having the knowledge is one thing, but then connecting with that knowledge and knowing where to apply it is another thing. Agreed? Yes? If you agree, say I agree. Good. I'm going to be talking back and forth with you, so get used to it. I'll also be asking your names so that ta'araf alaykum, and I'll know who you are, inshallah. All right, so in this first series, today our goal is to just have a simple introduction, to basically tie in what we learned in the last series with this series, inshallah. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So first we need to remind ourselves of important concepts that we were able to learn and prove to ourselves in the last series. The first most important concept is proving the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'll give you the short version, okay? The short version is a creator of something is greater than what they create. Do you all agree with that? If you create something, you're going to be greater than that which you create. Your parents brought you to this world. They created you. Are they more than just being parents? Yes or no? Right? They're more than just being your parents. Good. Somebody, for example, is an architect. They might design and build a building. They're more than just an architect. Agreed? Right? So then a creator of something is greater than what they create. We agree so far? If we agree, say I agree. Good. So that means then, if I take this concept and I apply it, alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah, and I apply it to, alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah, and I apply it to all of limitation, right? Got me? You with me? If I apply it to all of limitation, the fact that a creator of something is greater than what they create, I apply that to all of limitation, and I say, okay, what about the creator of all of limitation? He also must be greater than what he creates. Agreed? If you agree, say I agree. So based on that, that means that the creator is greater than limitation, which means that he must be limited or unlimited? Unlimited, right? To be greater than limitation means that you are unlimited. So that means then that the creator does not have a beginning, because a beginning is a limit, and an end is a limit, which means he always existed and will always exist. Agreed? If you agree, say I agree. Good. So it also means that he is everywhere. He sees all things, he hears all things, he's constant and unchanged. Agreed? If you agree, say I agree. Good. So it also means that he has no flaws. Why? Because flaws are limitations. Right? If I'm right, say you're right. I always tell my wife to tell me I'm right. I love hearing that I'm right. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So that means that he has no flaws. What's another word for having no flaws? Flawless. What's another word other than flawless? Starts with a P. Perfect. Exactly. Ahsantum. That means the creator is all perfect, which means that he is also all knowledgeable, which means that he is also all purposeful, which means that he is all wise, right? Which means that he's all just. He doesn't oppress, not even an atom's worth. Not even a quark's worth, right? And he's all purposeful, which means that when he created me and you and everything in existence for a purpose and with a purpose. Agreed? Good. So now we say, all right, another important concept to grasp and to understand from this is the fact that since the Creator created me and he is all perfect, then how valuable am I? How worthy am I of existing? A little worthy or extremely worthy? Extremely worthy, right? You getting it? Yeah. Contemplate how important you are. Your importance is your importance to Allah. So let nobody put you down, because your value comes from the all perfect. Your value doesn't come from the cool kids at school or in college or at work, or it doesn't come from your boss, it doesn't come from the president or the prime minister, it doesn't come from anyone other than whom? Allah. The other important paradigm shifting concept that we understand from proving that Allah is unlimited is that, are you ever alone? Since he's unlimited and he's everywhere, are you ever alone? You know those times that you felt that nobody understands you and you're all alone? Have you ever had that feeling? We all have, right? If you just tap into this important reality that Allah is everywhere because he is unlimited and he sees all things and he hears all things, then that means that he is there for me at all times. All I have to do is realize that. Which means that if I speak to Allah, Allah will hear me. If I think, Allah will know what I'm thinking. You see? These are important paradigm shifting concepts. Do you know what paradigm shifting means? A paradigm is a principle upon which you base your life. Before this principle and this proof, you didn't live your life, I'm telling you. Once you realize this paradigm, now your entire life changes. You know why? Because now you base everything on that paradigm and that principle, which is called the principle of Tawheed. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now that I understand this, I'm going to say, okay, well, what is my purpose in life, right? Well, I can realize my purpose first and foremost by saying, okay, well, let me look at how my Creator treats His creations. Since He is all just, then I'm going to be all just. Since He is all perfect, that means He's all kind, so I will be kind to all of His creations. Because every creation that He's created has an innate and inborn value and worth. Right? So if I was shy before, I'm not going to be shy, right, from getting to know others. I'm going to introduce myself. Why? Because Allah creates with purpose. Therefore, I'm going to come up to you and introduce myself, right, to try to know you and who you are. Does that make sense? Right? Because Allah deemed you worthy of existing. Also, a person who has tawheed in their lives, you know what they also realize? That everything has value, including the ecosystem. Therefore, I must be a steward of this universe. Agreed? If you agree, say I agree. Right? Which means that I will be eco-friendly. I will recycle. Right? I will be kind to the environment. Right? In addition, since I realize that everything has worth and value, then I'm going to look at those who are missing certain blessings that I may have, and I'll try to fill in that gap for them. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, say it makes sense. It will be my responsibility. I will take it upon myself because I realize Allah has brought them to this world and He has sustained them. Then who am I to deprive them? You see? So if I know of an orphan, then what will I do? Will I come to his help? Right? I will come to his help. And I see Brother Wahid with us here from Al-Ain Social Care Foundation. He knows a lot of orphans that need our help. So be sure to approach him, inshallah, after the lecture. So then, what else can I realize? Okay, I realize that by emulating my Creator, that will make Him happy with me and pleased. Why? Because just like when I'm a kid and I'm emulating, I'm copying my parents feel proud of me, right? So if I'm, for example, I have guests over and I give out the chai, for example, of course not now, after iftar, right? I give out the chai, what will they say to me? They'll say, Rahmallah waldik. May Allah have mercy on your parents who raised you so well. And that makes the parents really proud. Am I right? Yeah. So the same with Allah. If I copy how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treats His creations, then surely He will be proud of me as well. But also, we proved in the last lecture series, and I'm not going to repeat that part, how to prove the message, because we said that it's got to be that the Creator has to send me a message. He's got to communicate with me. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, say it makes sense, right? Just like I know that in a school system, my teachers have to communicate with me if I want to know if they want me to do an assignment. Otherwise, it would be cruel for them to ask me, hand in your assignments, and they never assigned one. Agreed? Right? Or for example, that they would examine me and not tell me when my examination would be or what they'll cover in the exam, right? Because that would be cruel. How many times have we written exams and the teacher told us they won't add this in the exam, and next thing you know, it was in there? Did we not feel oppressed when that happened or no? Am I right? If I'm right, say you're right. Good. So then that means that I have to then realize that there's a logical necessity that Allah will communicate with me. And we proved in the last series, and those who don't get access or have difficulty finding access, go to Knowledge Seekers 14 on YouTube and look at the playlist for that series, okay? And you can basically review all of those lectures. And I have them in bite sizes, 5-minute maximum, 8-10 minutes. That's it, right? You can listen to them while you're driving or you're on the bus or on the subway, okay? All right, so now that I realize this, I say, okay, so that's then my purpose in life then is to please my Creator first and foremost, to thank Him because He gave me worth, He gave me existence. Agreed? Right? So then my primary purpose in life is to show gratitude to my Creator. Not to be a surgeon, by the way. not to be a mechanic, not to be a lawyer, not to be an engineer. You see? My primary purpose in life is to show gratitude to Allah. Now that can be done through what? Through my actions. So if I decide to be a lawyer, I can serve Allah through my lawyering, right? If I decide to be a doctor, then I serve Allah and His creations by being a physician. You see, right? So my goal then is to please Allah through what I do. So Imam Ali salamullah alayhi, he says something really beautiful. And this is what the series is based on. He says, Man arafa nafsa, arafa rabbah. He who knows himself will know his Lord. Now look at what we did. We contemplated, we thought about ourselves and the world, right? We were able to logically come to not only prove Allah, but also prove our purpose in life, which is ultimately, first and foremost, to show gratitude to our Creator, right? In this series, what our goal is to do is to realize not only the physicality of our existence, but the metaphysical nature of our existence. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow, of course, inshallah. But I want to end with this. We only tend to connect with what we see. Would you agree with that? Yeah, if you agree, say I agree. Right? So, however, how much of us is seen and how much of us is unseen? I want you to think about that. Okay? So, we have a physical existence, but how much of us is metaphysical? Tomorrow we'll talk about the metaphysical parts, components of us, specifically the soul, the nafs, known as the self, okay? Al-qalb, the heart. Not the physical heart, the metaphysical heart. And we'll learn about what the role of the qalb is, inshallah. Also, we have 4 powers. The power of the intellect, the power of imagination, the power of desire, and the power of anger. Now, how many components now have I counted out? How much is that? 7. 7. Total of 7. Okay. In comparison to how many physical do we have components? One physical component. Move forward. 1. Okay. Whether it's external or internal, meaning the organs that we can't see or the organs that we can see. Got it? Okay. So really, it's 1 physical component to 7 metaphysical components. So now we go to the gym, we work out hard, right? Just so that these guns are nice and strong, right? Yeah? Okay, and these quads are what? Are striated, right? Huh? Am I right or no? Huh? We flex those pecs, we lift those weights, right? So that we can show off our strength and our physicality. But we only have 1 physical component to 7 metaphysical components. So which deserves more attention? The physical or the metaphysical? Metaphysical. 1 physical to how many? To 7 metaphysical. To 7 metaphysical. So that means how many times more important is it to focus on the metaphysical than the physical? 7 times more. We'll talk about that inshallah tomorrow. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين والفاتحة على أرواح المرحومين مسبوقة مشفوعة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. We have time for Q&A. Anybody wants to ask questions? I have until 7:45. ما كنت أدري. خوش. It's always good to know. Good. That's bonus, definitely. Okay, let's then open it up for Q&A. أنا ترى شباب, my lectures are short. I do 25 minutes to a half hour maximum. Okay? Then after that, we can have Q&A. خوش? If it's خوش, say خوش. خوش. Okay, good. Good. Okay, anybody have any questions for me? What's your name? Yazan. See, McMaster, you from Hamilton? Oh, okay. Yes. Tawheed. If you understand that Allah is always with you, that means you understand that Allah is unlimited. The paradigm is that Allah is unlimited, right? And that becomes the principle upon which you base everything. So since Allah is unlimited, we said, doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end, always existed, will always exist. Asking the question, who created Allah, then becomes wrong. Because Allah always existed, will always exist, which means He's not created. Okay? He's the only thing that is not created. Got it? Okay? And so once you realize that, you realize that Allah has a huge role in your life. Right? A huge role. Because He gave you existence, you have to show Him gratitude. Right? So then based on that, Brother Yazan, that means now everything starts from there. From my relationship with Allah. Me pleasing Allah. And my primary focus in life becomes, how do I please you, Allah? And so now everything that you do has purpose. Why? Because your purpose is to please Him, which means everything will become connected with Him. So when we do this, by the way, we practice this when we're drinking water or when we're eating, right? I don't know if I'm sure your parents have told you this, right? Before you start anything, say, Bismillah, right? You might not have realized what that means, but that's really what it means. It means start everything by what? By seeking help from Allah, which means start everything by being aware that you can't do anything without Allah. That's the paradigm. Okay. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Any other questions? Does that answer the question? Okay, yes. Anybody else? Shabab, young ones over here. Huh? No? ما عندك سؤال؟ شنو اسمك? What's your name? Hassan? What's your name? He's Hassan. You're Hassan as well? And you? Mahmoud? And you? Ahmed وجنابك? Ali? Ibrahim? طلال? كريم? زهير حجي؟ هم زهير ما شاء الله. ها فسبحان الله هذا الشبل من ذاك الأسد ما شاء الله. And of course يزن حجي اسمكم الكريم نتعرف عليكم. أبو راوية حجينا. أهلا وسهلا بالكعبي. أنا هم قلت ذكرتكم من آخر مرة. الكعبي والنعم بكم والنعم. حجي اسمكم الكريم. مصطفى أهلا حجي مصطفى. أبو من؟ أبو أحمد والنعم. حجي أبو حيدر جنابكم. أبو علي أهلا وسهلا. عزيزام اسم ها brother وحيد. مرتضى منتظر. Are you twins؟ ما شاء الله. اوكي حجي فرهاد احوال شما؟ خوبين ان شاء الله؟ الحمد لله. اهلا وسهلا. ابو اوس اهلا وسهلا والنعم. ها هم كعبية ما شاء الله. اهلا وسهلا. اهلا شرفنا حياكم الله. تعرفنا اخر مرة لما ايه. وجنابكم سين العوادي اهلا وسهلا. سيد اهلا بالسيد حياكم الله. بعد الكل عرف نفسه. اهلا ابو نورس شرفنا الله يحفظكم. ومنو عندنا جدد اجوا هنا منو اسماءكم؟ سيد حسين. Who are these two young men with you? Ali and ميسم ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. اهلا وسهلا والنعم. Anybody have any questions? Any other questions for me? Oh, two brothers here. Your names. Next. أيمن أهلا وسهلا. جنابك علي أهلا وسهلا. أستاذ علي من الخليج؟ خليجي؟ من إيران ما شاء الله. أهلا وسهلا. أهوازي بعد قال من إيران يحكي عربي. 1 plus 1 equals 2 or equals أهواز in this case. جيد. Any other questions for me? Right. Inshallah, I'll be here up until the 28th بِعَوْنِهِ ta'ala. Right. So we'll continue the series. Tomorrow we'll look at the soul. Tomorrow our goal is to understand the soul, inshallah, through the Holy Quran as well as through the hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. So we'll leave you here. You'll get an early finish today, inshallah. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alayhi at-taharin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alayhi. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah. Wa alaikum. Allah yahfazkum.